to talk about at this one, so I get to choose for myself. So I decided to talk about the power of the arts and why you should support them. The past couple months have been pretty interesting for me because I've really been thinking about the arts and how they've affected me in my life. And I realize not everybody has exactly the same experiences as me in the arts. Growing up with them, my father was an art teacher for 26 years. He taught kindergarten through 6th grade at Jackson Center for 11 years, and then he taught 1st grade through 12th grade at Botkins for 15 more. So I've had a really interesting life, and I started my first memories are actually living in Bowling Green, Ohio, and my parents were going to college, and I spent time with my dad in the studio and at the glass shop. And so I actually was in a glass studio when I was between 2 and 4 years old. And, I have a special place in my heart for blown glass because of that. So, but let's talk about why the arts may be important to you. First off, I think this is a great quote for this. Not every city will have a beautiful waterfront, a strong public transportation system, or a major university, but every single community has people who sing, dance, and tell stories. And I know that's true because, well, we have people in this room that sing, dance, and tell stories. Joe's a great storyteller. He's also not a bad dancer. Nikki and Erica both danced for Dancing with the Piqua Stars. I know that we have barbershop people in this group. So this is, music and the arts are actually, they're inside of all of us, and we just have to figure out how to bring those out. But what else are the arts? Well, the arts are part of the community. They help with revitalization efforts, economic development, tourism, and unification. So some of the pictures I have here are things that I've actually experienced, and one of them is the Short North. I just spent some time in the Short North this weekend. In Columbus, the Short North is High Street, just above the convention center. And in the 80s, it was nothing but empty storefronts and rundown buildings. Now, not quite 40 years later, it is the most happening place in Columbus. You have art galleries, you have restaurants, you have high-end restaurants, you have high-end apartments, you have the Pizzuti collection, which is one of the largest collections of modern art, moved their museum into the Short North to be part of that and help it grow. It's just a great, wonderful place, and it all started because people got together and said, we want to make this an arts district. And because of that, they got private investment and they grew it and they made it what it is today. And you can actually see that happening here. There's a trend called creative placemaking. And here in Piqua, you know, we started Rock Piqua in the Loch 9 Park. The city did a study and said, hey, let's really focus on this. Winans decided to invest money into their building. Then you see Brandon Vergalito and VCF Industries come in and they start revitalizing all of these other buildings in the downtown. And all of this happens because the arts take hold of somewhere and help it grow. Tourism is huge for the arts. I mean, obviously I went to Columbus and spent the day in Columbus because of the arts, but it happens everywhere. So the small picture with the spoon with the cherry on it is actually outside of the Walker Museum of Art in Minneapolis. And I was lucky enough to get to go to Minneapolis this summer, and I got to visit the Walker Sculpture Garden. And it's just a wonderful place, but it was filled with people walking around, taking pictures, spending time with their families. The arts actually, for every time you go to an art event, the average is $31 of economic development per person every time you attend an arts-related event. The arts contribute more to the economy of the United States than any other industry other than education. That's construction, that's facilities, manufacturing, all of that are second to the arts and what the arts bring to the United States. The arts also unify. They bring people together. I mean, if you go to a big city and you go to an event and you look around, you're not always going to see people that look just like you. You're not going to see people that wear the same clothes as you, because the arts have that power. There's a lot less judging in the arts than a lot of other things. But the arts and mental health are also really important. So self-care is a huge topic right now, and it's across all industries. We've created a society where it's more important for people to show up at their jobs than it is to call in sick and take that day off to get better. And so self-care is a huge topic, and people, the arts provide that. They provide that through a lot of different ways. One of my favorite ways is this huge explosion of adults and adult coloring books, where they're filling in the different drawings with colors, and that we've seen a rise in that because people need that escape. We have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 95% of them are exactly the same. But when you engage in the arts, you shut those things off. You allow your brain to rest, and you're able to contribute more to your well-being than you are any other time. So these statistics come from the Americans for the Arts. But 63% of Americans believe the arts lift me up beyond everyday experiences. 73% say the arts are positive experiences in a troubled world. And the arts heal mental, physical, and moral injuries of war for military service members and veterans, who rank the creative arts therapies number 4 out of 40 different interventions and treatments. So we do a lot with the arts and mental health. Education. This is the easiest one for anybody in the arts to talk about, because the benefits of the arts and education are undeniable. There have been so many studies that have been done that show that students who are exposed to the arts have higher test scores, lower dropout rates. They generally just do better in school. They have better well-being because they're able to express themselves through the arts. And that's not limited by socioeconomic status. So it doesn't matter whether you're a rich school district, a middle school district, or a poor school district. If those students have access to the arts, they're gonna do better. They're gonna achieve higher things. The arts connect to so many other parts of what we're learning too. One of the things that I think is funny is always the debate of STEAM versus STEM. So you've probably heard of STEAM. It's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And there's a huge focus on stressing those areas. And one of the best arguments I heard for STEAM the other day is, if you're doing STEM right, you should already be doing STEAM. Because if you're incorporating projects with your students that allow them to develop marketing materials for their projects, you're letting them come up with displays and graphics and all of these things and put together presentations and report to the class on things, they should already be touching the arts in all of that work. No, I don't think we should stick to STEM. I think we should make sure STEAM is the way we're going, but you should be doing it if you're doing it right. The arts and the economy. So I already touched on this a little bit, but nationally, $96 billion in household income because of the arts. 82% of Americans believe the arts are important to local business and economies. 87% of Americans believe the arts are important to your quality of life. 4.6 million full-time equivalent jobs are created in the arts industries. And the arts rank second nationally in the number of people employed. They represent over 4% of our gross domestic product. Statewide, creative industries attribute to $41.4 billion annually to the Ohio economy. 23,834,785 arts experiences were reported by the Ohio Arts Council in 2017 alone. And that's only what's reported, because not all of the arts administrators are real great about hitting deadlines. If you know anything about artists, you'll understand that. My father's one, so I'm allowed to say it. Not everybody is. 289,000 jobs are supported in Ohio alone through the arts. Let's get a little closer. How about just the Dayton region? 214 million in economic impact because of the arts. No, I'm not checking my phone for text messages. I'm actually just keeping track of time. Sorry. it doesn't like me right now. All right. 8,829 full-time equivalent jobs just in the Dayton region. 153 million is generated in household income from the arts, and we generate 24 million in local and state revenue through the arts. Those numbers are huge, especially for the Dayton region, which is really struggling a lot. So how does Piqua Arts Council play a part in all of this? Well, we have one job. That's the first way. But we also we work with so many wonderful creative people. So Dancing with Piqua Stars, you all know, some of you know really well, is our big fundraiser. But it's not just us doing Dancing with the Piqua Stars. We employ a DJ, we employ sound and lighting people, we employ a videographer. The arts are huge. We pay for a graphic designer to design our programs and our flyers. We have catering, we have a venue, there's so many different ways alone that one program touches the arts. Rock Piqua, obviously we're employing musicians, we're employing sound, lights, audio technicians. We continue to touch on those things. Our annual art exhibit, which I have to tell you set records this year. Our annual art exhibit a few years ago was so big I ran out of room. I didn't have anywhere to hang anything, and we went from allowing artists to give us 3 pieces of artwork down to 2. That has not stopped the artists from entering our show. In fact, this year we had the most artists ever enter the Piqua show, with more than 90 artists. We had 170 works of art in the show, and we gave away more prize money than we've ever given away before as well. Our show in Little Piqua, Ohio is the largest art exhibit from Botkins all the way down to the Ohio River. We have it here in Piqua, and nobody else can say that they do, because they'd be lying. Piqua Arts and Ale Festival was a great event that we decided to start. It really focuses on providing a space for vendors to display their work and sell their art. But also we had live music, we had Ohio craft beers, we had a kids entertainment area. We had a plein air paint out that attracted painters from 3 different states to come and paint in Piqua and create new, unique works of art just based on our location. Sounds of the Season is coming up. It's Saturday, December 7th at 3 p.m. It follows the Downtown Holiday Parade. It's a bunch of local performers that donate their time to put on a free holiday concert for people that can't afford to go to the bigger holiday concerts in the area. Our Creative Classrooms program, we don't talk about this program enough, but kindergarten through 4th grade, we do some kind of arts experience for every student in those grades in Piqua City Schools. Kindergarten and 1st grade get to see a performance by Dayton Contemporary Dance Company. The 2nd graders get to go to the Dayton Philharmonic. The 3rd graders get to see Madcap Puppets, and the 4th graders get to go to the Victoria Theater and see a performance for that. We take care of everything from the top to the bottom for that. The teachers do all the messy paperwork stuff, but we pay for all of that so that those kids can have those arts experiences. We're only able to do that because we have great sponsors. American Honda and Polysource both take care of that program for us. One of the things that I love is that, Piqua Arts Council has not forgotten who we're here to serve. So we love taking care of the community. We love giving you things to go to, things to enjoy. But we also want to take care of our artists, and we want to make sure that they have opportunities to grow. So we started a program a few years ago where we do professional workshops, classes, demos, and artist talks. Our professional workshops are different than any of the other ones in the state because we bring in internationally and nationally known artists from all over the United States to teach these workshops. Some of these workshops in other areas would cost as much as $600 or $700 for a 2 or 3 day workshop. Every time we do the workshop, it's 4 days and the fee is $350 because we know that our artists can't afford to pay that 7 or sometimes 8, 9. I just got an email from my friend who is going to be teaching a workshop in Tuscany, and it's $3,000 to go to the workshop. He's coming here for $350 a person to do our workshop. So the value that we create for artists it's second to none. Nobody else does what we do. You would think that would be enough. Like, that's a really healthy amount of stuff that we do, but no, we don't stop there. We do more. So a lot of times we're doing things where we're doing special exhibits. This year alone, we had 2 extra exhibits. We did a Rockwell exhibit. So we took the work of Norman Rockwell and had artists change it to reinterpret the changes in society from Rockwell's time to today. We had more than 30 pieces submitted for that show. It was an incredible show. It hung at the Piqua Public Library for the entire month of February. We also did a model train and train artwork show. My dad asked me what I wanted for Christmas last year. And I didn't know what to tell him. And finally I said, every year he's been getting me a piece for my Christmas village. And he takes whatever he buys and he changes it and he decorates it so that it has personal meaning to us. So one year he got me a ski lift and he changed the name on the sign so that it represented the ski lift of the place we went in Breckenridge, Colorado together. And he got me an ice cream parlor, and we always went to this ice cream parlor in Jackson Center, so he changed the name on the sign to match the one in Jackson Center. So the Christmas village meant a lot to me, and I said, you know what I want? I want a train that goes around my Christmas village. Trains are really expensive. I had no idea. He went to the store and they said, yeah, we got this great Polar Express train set for you. It'll cost you $300. And he went, oh, well, I kind of already bought him most of his Christmas stuff. I was not thinking that much. How about I just get him the engine? And they said, well, the engines alone start at $350 and they go up to over $2,000. It's like, no. So he went back to the drawing board and he remembered that he had a train. My great-grandfather bought my great-uncle a train when he was little. And sometime in the 70s, that train they gave to my father. So my father handed me down this train. And wouldn't you know it, it didn't work. So for Christmas, we got a whole bunch of track and we laid it out and we put the train on it. And it did nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I had to learn all about these trains, and I found out that the train he gave me was a pre-World War II Lionel train. I took it apart, I rewired it, I cleaned everything, put it back together, and it runs. It still runs. So we have track, and that kind of led me to this idea. You know, it'd be really cool is to do it. Along learning about this train, I met so many people that said, oh, I used to have a train set in my basement. When I was a kid. And I met so many people that said, I still have a train set in my basement. If you listen to Troy Community Radio, Clint Myers is on there every morning. And Clint Meyer has one of the largest model train sets I've ever seen in his basement. It's enormous and it's awesome. Larry Zetterling used to be a pilot for Hartzell Propeller, and he's got a huge train set in his basement too. So I met all these people, I talked to them, and I thought this would be a really cool exhibit. So for the month of May, we had a train exhibit. It was a lot of fun. My dad and I actually, somebody donated $25,000 worth of train equipment to us. And my dad and I built train displays for it. If you go out to the Piqua Mall, which I know nobody does, but if you go out there and you leave Penny's going into the main part of the mall, there's a carnival scene on the left, and we built that. So it's about half finished. It needs a little more work. Poetry Out Loud is a new program that we just got involved in. The National Endowment for the Arts started this program, and then they partner with state agencies, and then the state agencies partner with regional agencies. Piqua Arts Council was asked to be the regional host for the competition, and we'll be working with schools from a 12-county region to determine the region's winner. They'll then go to the state. If they win state, they get an all expenses paid trip to Washington, D.C. And if they win in D.C., they get $20,000 scholarship to go on. So it's a pretty awesome event. That's coming up February 6th. So our Miami County Artist Opportunity Grants. I sit on a grant panel for CultureWorks in Dayton. And one of the things I do there is I read these grants and determine whether an artist gets funding. I love the program so much. I think it's such a great program that we brought it to Miami County. And so we work with partners in Troy and Tip City to help identify artists that could use some extra help to create new works, to do new things, to create murals or music or whatever. We actually funded a CD project for Reflection, Jared and Justin Younts, and we funded a project for Jimmy Feltz to help him create a new CD of his work this past year. And then apparently I like Creative Classroom so much I put it on there twice. So let's talk about the arts in you. This is where it gets a little more personal. No, I'm not asking you to tell me, did you make Christmas cards when you were a kid? How can you get involved? How can you do things to help? So volunteerism is always huge. We need board members, we need committee members, we need event volunteers. We need people to help keep this thing rolling. So if you're interested in getting involved in the arts, and you can come up with your own idea. Maybe you want to work with kids. We've got opportunities to work with kids in the arts as well. Membership. If you're not a member of the Piqua Arts Council, please consider becoming a member. Our membership starts at $25, so it's not a huge investment, but your money goes a long way to helping us support the arts and to continue doing the programs that we do. If you haven't donated yet this year, there's still time. It's all tax deductible. You will get a tax letter from us. If you work for a corporation, sponsorships. Talk to your bosses and say, hey, these guys are doing a lot of great work in the community and they could use our support. It's free to attend most of our events. So come out, enjoy them, take advantage of that, bring your friends. Support Nikki because I put her to work all the time. Marketing. Do you know how easy it is to hit the share button on Facebook? Follow our page, hit that share button and help us get the word out about these great events that we're doing. And of course, fundraising. There's all kinds of things you can do to help us raise funds. If you like to dance, we've got an event for you.
Anybody?
Nikki's the chair. So.
No. Come on. I have been sitting here this whole time. Eyeballing you. Yeah. Gosh, I gotta ask.
So, you know, and Tony's been a dancer, Joe's been a dancer, Nikki, Erica. We've taken advantage of this group and your generosity a lot, but we do appreciate it. And I mean, that event's raised a lot of money, but there are other things that we're going to do in the future for fundraising. And you can support those by buying a ticket and coming to the event, buying a ticket for the raffle, any of those things. So please, you know, it's not hard to get involved with the Arts Council. Just speak up. We'll find something for you to do. That's it.